So we know out in the South, most of the time we have to go about the way we organize a little bit more different than, I guess it's just a special way, a more unconventional way of organizing here in the South. We know that in the South that unions are not big. It's anti-union down here in the South, especially North Carolina. So we are always trying to figure out ways to organize and get around these obstacles and barriers that companies or political folks put in our way to organize. So we're going to get started with the municipal organizing. We're going to call up Rob Davis with the City of Charlotte Union Chapter to share some of the organizing campaigns and drives and what they've been doing in the City of Charlotte. Yes. Yes. We can bring up, make sure everybody from the panel can sit here at the front. So we can already have everybody here. We need Miranda, Elston, and okay. All right. What's the next? All right. What about it?
How's everybody this afternoon?
Good. All right.
Good morning.
Good afternoon. Let me start by saying I'm honored to be here. Secondly, to try and encapsulate in 1 or 2 minutes everything that took place in Charlotte would be tremendously difficult. We've had a staff of tireless organizers working with us. I mean, I'm not sure how many hours they put into these campaigns. But I remember seeing several of them outside of the various departments handing out leaflets, flyers, trying to rally people to the cause, growing the membership, and all of the things that took place in Charlotte is phenomenal. Several marches. I was pointing out in one of the photographs back there on the left-hand wall, one of our city workers always brought his son out to the marches. And it was something just powerful to see. 10-year-old holding up a sign for fair wages and safe workplace practices. Awesome things taking place in Charlotte. The organization I just can't speak to enough. They had us in front of city council members, flooding city council chambers for the budget initiatives. Ms. Michelle and Cass, they were tirelessly working. Dante, where'd he go? I'm not sure where he went. Just tirelessly working to get us in front of the right people, to make the right statements and to be heard, more importantly. And the marches were just outrageous. I know I wasn't around for a lot of the things that took place in the early 60s and 70s, but I can imagine what it felt like. We were unified, we were together, we were strong. We shut down the street on several occasions. And the result of that was the wins that we just received. Those 20%, 2% increases, the 2.5% for CDLs. I mean, all the things that we needed, we got. And it was just a powerful thing to be a part of and to see. And just that groundswell of support. There were several persons that joined the marches that were not city workers at all. They saw us, they heard us on the news, they saw all of the campaigns and the flyers, and they decided to walk with us and march with us. So it was a phenomenal effort, a groundswell of support from the community, which was another key component of that organizing, getting the community behind us, because we are the community. We're not just the workers, we're the community. And it was just an awesome thing to take part in. And that's the best way I can capsulize a year's worth of work with so many man hours involved. So I thank every member of the chapter, every member of the state level chapter for just supporting us, being with us, and helping us get this win for the workers. Thank you.
Such wonderful work in the City of Charlotte. And that's a powerful thing that you mentioned and shared about having the children being part of the marches. And seeing that and seeing what we were doing, and that's the next generation to, in line. Moving on to our DHHS organizing, Rakesh Patel, Central Regional Hospital, Butler.
So good morning, y'all. So I want to thank Dante and Sakia, because without them, I don't think I would know what I was doing. I think it was about 5 years ago, Dante was recruiting folks at CRH, and a bunch of medical providers signed up that day, and I asked them, how many doctors do you have in this union? And we're the first, which I thought that was surprising that at a state hospital, the doctors hadn't joined, and I think that was something that was missing. That's very important. We've had a really successful run at CRH, and I think it was Bastille Day, July 2021. Dante, David Bartholomew, and I are out there recruiting members, and I think we signed up about almost 50 members that day. And when we thought about how we were able to sign up that many members, and look back, and it's because what we did before we asked them to join is we showed them what we were going to do. And in the prior year or so, we had met with the CEO at least 3 times with Meet and Confer. We had 3 rallies in front of our hospital for safe staffing and better wages. We had gotten TV coverage, newspaper coverage. We had spent a lot of time in the hospital after hours talking to staff, trying to educate them about the Mental Healthcare Workers' Bill of Rights. And it's just a campaign to just even let folks know we had a union. There's folks that didn't know that the hospital had a union. And as soon as they knew that, especially the folks that were from the Northeast who'd been in unions in the past, it was an easy thing for them to do. I didn't realize that in the South you'd have to get past all this anti-union animus that sort of was taught almost at a young age. Folks are told that unions are communist or dangerous and don't join. And I didn't know we had to get past that, but we did. We've been very active at the political action days, both last year and this year. This year, Patrice and I scheduled a meeting with Senator Bergen and spent about half an hour discussing the crisis that's happening in our hospitals. Essentially, we're losing nursing staff to an extent where we can't take care of the number of patients we can take care of. Pre-pandemic, CRH would take care of 380 patients. Now we're down to 260. Broughton Hospital, pre-pandemic, taking care of 340 patients. They're down to 150, and it's because there's not enough nursing staff. And we've begged the Secretary of DHSS to sort of look into why this is happening by setting up a safe staffing task force. And so far we've been unsuccessful getting the legislative folks to put our priorities onto the budget. And it's made me realize that probably the most important thing we need to end up doing is to get a different set of folks elected. And if we can somehow band together with other folks trying to make a difference in this November election, is going to be very important. So it's just a matter of educating folks about what a union does, showing them what their rights are, demonstrating that you want to fight for them. And I think all that effort sort of encouraged folks, at least CRH, to join. There's a handout in your folder that kind of just goes through all the different meetings we had. Unfortunately, DHSS took away the hazard pay back in January 2021, even before we were even given our vaccines. But we had a petition across the states, almost 700 people signed it, and we've met a couple times since then with DHSS. More recently, the DSOF Karen Brooks has been unwilling to meet with us, and that's something we need to push on. In the newsletter, one of the things we wanted to teach folks was workplace bullying. And I thought it was kind of a shame that at a psychiatric hospital, of all places, we'd have to contend with workplace bullying. And I think that unfortunately that's in every profession. I thought one of the ways to teach workers what's happened to them is to give them the language and the words to describe what they're experiencing from their supervisor, from their manager, and to kind of give it a name. And once you give it a name, it's powerful. So if you can describe your experiences to yourself and to your coworkers as being bullying, I think kind of organizes what's happening to you. And I think that's going to be, so if you guys have a chance, kind of read through that. There's a kind of a schematic about the 4 types of workplace bullies, the different things that you may be taking for granted that's sort of normal management, and I don't think we should accept that anymore in 2022. That's not the way to deal with people, by intimidating them or nitpicking or micromanaging. So it's just been an experience of educating. We've also been to a couple of Poor People's Campaign rally in Raleigh and in DC, and it's nice to get involved and be a part of the social justice movement. Okay, thank you.
Once again, some amazing work there with DHHS. I've known since I've been with the union and been elected president, vice president, that there's always something going on in the facilities with DHHS. And those folks are always fighting against the state and its managers and bosses that's in those facilities. We're going to move on to the UNC system organizing. Miranda Elston, UNC Chapel Hill.
Hello, and thank you for waiting for me as I finished up my COVID test. So I'm going to keep this as kind of brief and concise as possible about the UNC system and what we've been doing. So the UNC system is the University of North Carolina universities across North Carolina. And so far we've been organizing across the system, trying to bring the different campuses together that is considered part of this. The kind of start of this organizing effort has been at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And we've been organizing there for several years now. It actually goes back much deeper. And then as we've been organizing, NC State has started organizing over the past several years as well. And then more recently, the University of North Carolina, Asheville, Greensboro, and Charlotte are all starting to organize and unionize. Charlotte's been the most recent to reach out, and I think they already have close to 50 people wanting to sign up with UE. The idea around this organizing has really been that we are all under the same system and we have the same boss or president that dictates, but each campus has a different set of rules and regulations for the workers, which is meaning they are able to do a lot of different things depending on the campuses to exploit workers. So in one sense, what we have seen is at UNC Chapel Hill, we got our fees abolished. So as a graduate worker, we have to pay $1,000 in fees a semester to be a student, even though we're working. And that comes out of basically our paycheck, which then puts us oftentimes below the standard of living. And by that I mean the lowest paid at UNC is making maybe about $14,000 a year to live off of, and then you have to take out healthcare fees and the student fees, which is basically living, and some of these people are families, they're the sole provider, and they are living off of close to $10,000 a year. So at UNC, we got those fees abolished about 2 years ago, which was a huge deal. However, NC State, Charlotte, they are still paying these fees, and they're almost triple what UNC has been paying. So what we're seeing is that different universities are being held to different standards. For the last 2 years, the big push, not surprising, for organizing has really been regarding safety during the pandemic. The UNC system forced us to be there very rapidly and fast. Campus workers, especially our healthcare workers and our housekeeping staff, were required to be on campus even when we were in lockdown, cleaning out dorms. They were, for the first week of the pandemic, given one disposable mask for every 2 weeks, that was going to be their safety. So around that, with the start of the pandemic, we started immediately organizing throughout the system a response to keep especially the housekeepers safe. They were still having them all clock in at the same places. They were not doing social distancing. They were being asked to either go into quarantine dorms, or they were bringing in private cleaning staff and then taking their job hours away from the housekeepers. So we kind of all gathered, and through a huge effort and a coalition building that extended across the UNC system, we also reached out to teachers and professors at the UNC system. They're an organization known as AAUP, the American Association of College Professors. They're not really a union. They are in some places that gets very, very murky. At UNC, they are not. And together we did a town hall to speak out about what's happening. At our town hall, over close to 100 people Zoomed in, and we had senators from North Carolina coming in. We had representation from almost every school, campus worker and graduate worker side, talking about what their experiences or fears are. And after that, we did a series of protests. We brought housekeeper demands to their management and had film crews there to be able to show what was happening. And slowly, PPE masks started appearing. They changed the clock-in systems, and more protection started occurring. So that's been the major push for the past 2 years. We are now kind of shifting and pivoting a little around that to thinking about inflation and the cost of living for every worker at the UNC system. Since many people all campus workers in the UNC system have to pay to come to work. You pay for a parking spot, or you're commuting in about an hour to 2 hours to be able to do that through park and ride. And especially for night shift workers, that they are not getting necessarily protective spaces at these bus stops in the middle of nowhere. This has been like a real issue. The fact that graduate workers are unable to live in the states they are at. We cannot afford, we don't get dental care, we do not get most health insurance. So we are also pushing back to say we deserve to be treated as workers on this campus, as we are the ones working on this campus and teaching. And so going forward, I think the kind of goal is going to be to really look at that kind of pay increase across the board for campus worker and for graduate workers, and ending the pay to work policies that the UNC system has initiated. The last thing I'll say that has also been brought up at the UNC system is its just right in your face racism and sexism that has been going on for incredibly long time, and the ending of freedom of speech on campus has been a huge concern. They are starting to monitor classes. They are keeping people separated so they can't have discussions. They will ask union representatives when we go to campus workers that they are not allowed in there and escort them out and be quite hostile. So it's been quite a hostile place to organize. And currently we are regrouping. We are kind of creating a new way to kind of start to agitate and get more and more people involved throughout the system. And I think there's going to be just a lot of positive energy going forward for what we can accomplish in the system. So that is kind of my big report overview. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda, for that. UNC system is, as you can see, is constantly under attack. There's workers there, and we have been, I know since many of these chapters, and the times I visit and talk with them at their meetings and stuff, it's always something with the school, and it's supposed to be institutes of learning, and they treat their workers and their campus workers and grad students like they're nobody. So much work is there to be done. Move on to our private manufacturer organizing, Marvin Ayrton, Cummins Rocky Mount the engine plant.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Marvin Arrington, and I'm standing in for my president, Jimmy Thorne, today, who, as we were testing for COVID, he tested positive for COVID over the week. So, again, like I said, Marvin Arrington, I've been at Rocky Mount Engine Plant working for about 37 years, and me and Jim Wren have been running partners also. We used to run together as a running team and also as union workers. At Rocky Mount Engine Plant, recently I think we've been going through a transformation of a younger group of workers that's coming in, and that transformation, I guess, means that we have to transform our message as we try to attract our new younger workers, because they have no knowledge really of what a union really is and the things that a union could do for them as at the workplace. So in doing that, like I said, I want to commend DHHS, Pastel, for this nice newsletter. We also do a newsletter called our Unity News. And basically what we try to do, that's part of our recruiting tool. So we try to address the issues that affect the workers on a lot of times they come to us with issues that they have with HR, probably either trying to stay on or have some issues trying to get fired. So in doing that, we try to address all those issues and show them a pathway as to some of the things that they should do or shouldn't do in order to stay as a employee in good standings. And every year we do a Martin Luther King Day, which we have a event that we everybody come, and we do a lunch also. We have a guest speaker. And we've been doing that ever since we started fighting for that Martin Luther King Day, and we got that day. And as we, with the Union News, basically what we do is we place it in the common area, the teen room, the cafeteria, those areas, because where we are not recognized by the Cummins as a union that has bargaining rights. So, but we'll still hold them to the law of letting us place our newsletters inside the plant. And Jim we all went through that big legal battle to make sure that that stands. So, and in the past years, like I said, we've been fighting for the $15 an hour. We pretty much started that campaign, and now I think our starting rate at Rocky Mount Engine Plant is at least $18 an hour, and so we've been able to accomplish a lot of things at Rocky Mount Engine Plant. And one of the reasons, like I said, is our Unity News that informs our employees of what's on the table and what's the company is and not doing. And one of the greatest things I thought that Jim, when we were the company had projected a certain payout, and however Jim decided that payout wasn't correct, and they had placed in one of their company's communication that they were going to give us this raise according to the payout. So anyway, they didn't. They reneged on it. So Jim was talking. He said, "Wow, can we get them on a promise? Because they promised us that." So basically, we went to the court on a promise, and that promise proved to be right, and we won, and everybody got paid their back pay for the promise that the company put out there, and they weren't willing to keep. So those kind of issues, I think that we have to know what the company rules are and make the company follow those rules according to the workers and workers' rights. And also, like I said, the social issues that comes along with younger folk that's coming into the workplace who really haven't had the training as to how to work in a group, a lot of them. So Our task now, to a certain degree, is finding a way to reach those younger workers and giving them a history or a lesson on what the union can do and what it is doing as far as their workers' rights and safety at the workplace. So, like I said, this is kind of a on the spot that I had to replace Jimmy, but all at the same time, we also, Jimmy works for a contracting service, which is CW. So we also have our Rocky Mount Indian Plant workers, and we have the C&W workers that we also try to get them to raise their pay, their starting pay for their works, because they always lag way behind Rocky Mount Indian Plant. So as the CDC workers. Yeah, so that's part of our struggle also, is to bring them along as we move along. I think that's pretty much covers basically what we're trying to do, and hopefully we can move forward and keep our membership. Like I said, our transformation been, because we had, like I said, I've been there 37 years, and we had a lot of members that have retired and moved on. So, right, we're replacing, and we got to replace them some way. So we just got to find that right message. And we're going to try to use some of your newsletter inputs here to help move us forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. As you can see, when it comes to working for a private company, they're all about profits and their stakeholders, and so we always have to find ways to get past those barriers and still organize in those private manufacturing facilities. We're going to have videos from Virginia City Workers Union.
My name is Terry Green. I work for the City of Virginia Beach, Public Utilities Water Distribution. Been here for 33 years and acting CEO of EU150 Virginia Beach. Well, we accomplished talking to city councilmen, the mayor, vice mayor, the city manager, city manager, and basically, we've been advocating for collective bargaining, better pay, better wages, better compensation, and collective bargaining. We just got a step plan through the last budget meeting, which was kind of good, but can be better. Right now, we are advocating to the new running councilmen, interviewing them to see where their heads is in collective bargaining, and to find out where their head is, so we know who to vote for coming up in November. Well, we started organizing, 2021? And it was due to waste management stepping down and wanted to talk to the city manager about their problems. And that's how I met you and a few other guys, Charles and Chris. Basically, right now, well, we are, just basically trying to get our people to fill out cards, petitions, and the wages for the union, the dues for the union. And it's kind of hard getting people together because of the backlash and all of that. But they need to understand that we are a bargaining state, collective bargaining state. And I'm proud of Charlotte because they are not a collective bargaining state, and they have a union. And they got to be strong. So we are working towards to get like Charlotte and make this thing happen and make it a historical moment. The city council, we had an agenda about money, about the condition, basically about the city and the way they're running things. Because it's a bully system, and it's time for it to stop. And that's why we need collective bargaining. And to the point where management needs to step down on this bulliness, and we need to put our foot in their chest instead of like the state flag, and let us put our foot in their chest. Around about maybe 300 some workers come out, or maybe a little less. And we advocated to each city council. We got waste management, public utilities, wastewater, public works, stormwater, street maintenance, to get involved. But it's more city workers than that. And we are trying to go around throughout the city and let them know what we are doing is legal and that they have a voice and a mouth just like we do. And I've been speaking on this for the last couple of years and nothing happened to me, so there's nothing gonna happen to them. A big event for the upcoming election that we're gonna invite the city managers, the mayors or whatever, all the people that's running for city council to come to the event to see, so they can see what collective bargaining is all about and find out where they are. And we've been doing this throughout the couple of years that we have been there. We done had picnics, invited councilmen and all. Basically, we are trying to get in their head just like they're trying to run away from us. But we are standing on a firm ground of keeping on them. Because if we don't, we it's a no-win situation, but we're gonna win. And we have the boards and all that set up, secretary and all that, chairman, vice chairman, and all that. We done got all that together. And as soon as after the November, hopefully, we can start collecting dues. We have 600 cards already out of that's probably like 50-something%. And we have started trying to get more cards because the city has been in and out of employees, like people say, looking at the money and run. So we're trying to get everything up to par. And I think the city that went up $15 for the laborers that they call maintenance workers. And that's for advocating for wages that we have gotten with that step plan that we have. With a resolution of more. And we also won with the CDL, $2,500 for the ones that's holding CDL, because more of the workers go out and make way more money than what they're making here for a CDL. And that's venues coming up, church venues, allies venues, and our allies. We have real strong allies. And they are working, they're behind us, they're coming together with us, and they don't mind fighting with us. As of the step plan, I received like $10,500 on my additional salary, plus my 33 years of service. And that was a good lump sum, but we need more of it. We're not trying to get rich, we're just trying to live in the city that we work in, which we can.
A lot of work and a lot of manpower put into that organizing there in Virginia Beach, and to see it from start to where it's at now is amazing.